I think what we learned is you need to hold two things lightly. Maybe put them in your pockets, keep them in your pockets. One is your quote-unquote expertise and your prior experience doing this sort of thing. The other is your desire to make something good happen or help something good happen, for there to be an outcome. And particularly if this is funded work, an outcome that can be counted. That will make you very, very happy. So both outcome and past experience, you don't want to deny that they're there and that they're important, but or maybe put them on your shoulders or in your pocket, but somewhere so they don't interfere with your ability to be curious, to be receptive, to be taught by those you meet along the way, how you need to carry yourself and what you need to ask, and what you need to propose to accomplish a goal that the participants will view as valuable. People who are familiar with Zen have probably heard of beginner's mind. I like that phrase a lot. And to me, it means holding one's experience, one's assumptions, one's values, one's expertise lightly. It requires a certain humility. But if you are attached to your expertise, you're going to have some work to do. I mean, you are, because establishing a relationship, a collaborative relationship with the people who you're going to be planning an event or participating in the event, you need to model in your relationship with them the kind of relationship you hope they will have with the people whom they currently perceive as being a them, an untrustworthy them. So if I'm coming to you to talk with you, explore with you the possibility of doing a dialogue in your organization or your community, it's highly desirable that I enter as an inquirer, as someone who is willing to be taught by you what aspects of what I might be able to bring, which ones are relevant. If I have a banner, if my button says, I am an expert and I already know what you need, this is not, and you need to wear that button. I think this is not a good role for you to play. And for some people, does require a character stretch. Our approach relies on structure rather than the moves of the facilitator, because we learned early on that no matter how brilliant the facilitator, how brilliant an idea the facilitator, we learned early on that no matter how brilliant an idea you as a facilitator have, or how cleverly you think you might intervene in the situation, one thing that happens no matter what you do is that attention is drawn away from what's happening between the participants to you, so that you are breaking up that which you are trying to foster, which is meaningful, synergistic contact between other people, not about other people and you, but other people and each other. We have, whenever possible, we have learned that as much as possible to let the structure of the event and the preparation for the event to carry the work. In the beginning of a dialogue, we're very active, sort of putting out the structures, the turn taking, the question asking. It's very formal. It's almost like a ritual sometimes, I think about it. But that's what we learn people need in order to lower the anxiety enough so people can hear each other and speak in a considerate and thoughtful way. But once that happens, and they begin to ask questions of each other, we really need to do relatively little. And I sort of see ourselves as starting in the middle, very, very active, and ideally, if all goes well, we're almost outside the circle, sort of watching, keeping an eye on things, keeping an eye on the ground rules, making sure everybody honors them, keeping an eye on the clock, keeping an eye on the flow of the conversation. Is it going where they said they wanted to go? Very simple, very simple. The story about the bishops was, you have these Anglican bishops coming from 5 continents, long way to come, for 5 days. It was a long retreat, and we did the usual mapping, and we were much more intentional. We, for the first time, became really intentional about how do you build the capacity to listen and speak in the bishops, so that by the time they go all the way back to Australia and Asia and other faraway places, they will have moved as far enough so that they feel this journey was worthwhile. So that at this point in time, I think all of us think not only about dialogue as the conversation that's being helped to happen, but also the capacities that are being built in the participants. The dialogue we had with the Anglican bishops now quite a while ago was remarkable for me in that we were quite active for the first quarter, first day and a half out of 5 days. Structured exercises, questions, ground rules, many of the usual things we do. But I noticed that after the first day and a half, Bob Staines and I virtually had to do nothing except keep track of the time, check in with them and see, is this going in the direction you want it to be going? Or do you want to, you also had this on your list? What do you want? Helping them decide, make process decisions and mid-course corrections. We had to do virtually nothing after that initial the initial sessions in which the capacities were built. And that's, my hope is that by, at some point in the meeting, that the facilitators are basically out of work.